Sai Leela, episode 43. In 1917, during Vaishak month, a doctor, his wife and his son came to Shirdi. He hoped that Baba would drive away the evil spirit that traumatized his son. In the Dwarka Mai, the doctor thought that Baba's grinding off the wheat and throwing it at the outskirts was fragile and just a superstition. Baba, reading his thoughts, asked him to come at 3 p.m. Exactly at 3 p.m., he and his family went to Dwarkamai. The doctor and his son sat and started massaging Baba's leg upon Baba's orders. Just then, an ugly, devilish looking lady came and grabbed his son, wanting to take him away. Baba unduly gave her a blow with his satka. She fled, crying loudly. Baba then said, "She came to eat your son. She was deprived of her ration. Did not throw that floor at the outskirts today, as they thought it was unwanted. But I drove her away with my satka. Now she will not traumatize your son." The father and the son were filled with awe at Baba's Arthanjan and kindness. Then Baba gave them permission to go on the next day. In Sai Satcharitra, chapter 29, the Leela of avaricious Bhajan Mandali from Madras is given. Same of the detail like their names, address and other particulars are missing. The Leela given below elaborates upon it. He was called Bhuva Swami because his guru was Ram Bhuva of South Kandra. This Govind Swami worked in Madras electrical tramways. He and his family went on an all India pilgrimage in 1915. They visited Shirdi on the 23rd August 1915. They sang beautifully and did bhajans daily. Baba gave them rupees 2 and 2 rupees worth of barfi. The barfi he sold for 1 rupee and 12 annas. All these details he wrote in his diary daily. One day he had a dream of vision of Baba, which is elaborated beautifully in the Satcharitra. After this revealing vision, the greedy skeptic became a adamant devotee. Dr. Pillai asked him to write his dream, which he did and handed it over to him. Knowing of Radhakrishna Mai's love for bhajans, he performed bhajans at her home too. She gave him a Marathi book containing the life of Baba, which he treasured. His wife Adilakshmi was given Sakshatkar of Sri Ram at the noon Aarti, while the rest of the Mandali saw Baba sitting in his place. Filled with joy, she decided to make prasad of bhaji and payasam for Baba. On the 30th August 1915, while preparing it, she fervently prayed to Baba to accept it, as she had prepared it with all love and devotion. Eagerly, she took it to the Dwarka Mai and handed it over. To her utter constant, the lady Durgabai placed it last in the rows of prasad offering. Baba, however, slowly moved to the back and opened her dish. Wholeheartedly, Baba ate the dish. This touched the lady to bottom of her heart, further strengthening her devotion on Baba. The story of Dr. Veer Hate and the 1 rupee is given in Satcharitra chapter 29. A little more is given here about him. Captain Hate was a stringent devotee of Baba and lived in Shirdi for some time and then returned to Gwalior. One day, Sawal Ram of Gwalior came to him distraught as his son was missing. Dr. Hate said, "Go to Shirdi and take Baba's darshan." Sawal Ram agreed. After some time, he received a letter from the boy saying that he was in Egypt. He had secretly joined the army as he feared his parents' what. Now he was returning to India. Sawal Ram's joy knew no bounds. But instead of going to Shirdi, he and his wife went to Bombay to receive his son. When they met, Sawal Ram was upset as his son was medicated and was suffering from high fever. He rushed with the boy to Gwalior for treatment. Again, he told Dr. Hate about it. The doctor chilled Sawal Ram, saying, "You failed to keep your promise. Now take the boy to Baba and he will be all right." The three of them then set out to go to Shirdi. Just before he left, Dr. Hate gave 1 rupee to Sawal Ram and said, "Place this in Baba's hand. Do not fail to bring it back." He wanted the blessed coin to keep it in his puja. Saval Ram returned with his family and told Dr. Hate that his son was recovering. He also gave the rupee to Hate. On receiving the coin, Hate felt it was not the same coin he had given. Disappointed, he told Saval Ram to go back to Shirdi and fetch the coin. On returning home, Saval Ram told his wife about the incident. She, however, just went inside and bought Dr. Hate's coin, which she had put away safely. The next day, a thrilled Dr. Hate received his prasad coin and Saval Ram apologized for the substitution. He related what happened and Dr. Hate was satisfied. Experiences of Adam Dalali. Aged about 70, he was an estate broker living near Naupad Mosque, Bhandra. I am an old Bhakta of Sai Baba. My experiences are already found in the Sai Leela Mastak. I have long been going to Sai Baba. He was so kind and generous. He has helped me in many occasions. I shall give you some striking instances. My son had got married and I intimated the fact to Baba and asked him for his leave and sanction. Each time I asked, he put it off. I was writing also to him. Even then, the reply sent usually back to me by Baba was his usual Allah Malik hai. At the last, after 3 years, he replied to my son's marriage may be celebrated and he fixed a date for it and ordered me to celebrate it on that day. That was all right, but how were the funds to be provided by a poor man like me? See how Baba provided for me. I had undertaken to pay the expenses of the bride's party also. I looked to Baba for aid. Some 10 days prior to the date fixed, I got a sudden work entrusted to me and sudden payment for it. Thus, I got some relief. Then, with similar accessions to my little marriage fund, I was able to celebrate the marriage on the fixed date by Baba about 1913 or 1914. In another instant of his help towards the close of Baba's career, I had acted as a broker between a Marwadi and the man who mortgaged a building to him, giving him a little deed purporting to him issued by the collector. This little deed was impugned and the police charge-sheeted me and the mortgagor for using a fabricated document, etc. I went to Baba and prayed for help. He said, "Don't fear, everything will come right." Then I went to Mr. Tandulkar and entreated his wife to pray to Baba for me and say that I would be discharged. She said so. That day I was discharged and others, the mortgagor, were committed to the sessions wherein I was examined as a prosecution witness. I have had numerous experiences. I had forgotten them, but they were all about earthly, worldly matters. I did not read Quran as asked for spiritual advice, nor did Baba ask me to read Quran or speak to me of spiritual matters. Baba used to ask Bade Baba to go and read Quran and attend to his work. I do not remember any prominent or scholarly Muslim that went to Sai Baba. He has come to me in many other forms and dwelt with me. For example, once he had come to me as a Brahmin and begged for something. I gave him 2 annas then. Once he came to me as a Marwadi and said, "I am hungry." I gave him 4 annas and asked him to go to a Marwadi hotel to get his food. Then, when I went to Shirdi, dropped significant hints showing me that he had visited me in those forms. On the later occasion, he said of me to some people else, "I went to this man. He sent me to the Marwadi hotel to eat. I always used his udi and tirth. I have got his picture here at home and I burn udbatti before it. Even in recent times, I have been going to Shirdi." Baba's teachings did not always come through the media of language or in an elaborate action. The communications were sometimes mysterious, and what was so conveyed was usually something which words cannot convey. Sri Narayan Ashram records his experience. Sai Baba had different ways of dwelling with different people. He was the center to each man and dared a separate radius. Immediate proximity was not indeed for spiritual development under Baba. When I was at Shirdi, I would mostly go and sit away from myself in the Vada and not be in the mosque. Even at the Vada, one is under Baba's direct influence. Baba had way of touching the head of the devotee who went to him. There was no adhikari evidently to receive anything Baba could give, and thus there were none to succeed him to his position. But his touch did convey certain impulsive forces, ideas, etc. Sometimes he pressed his hand heavily on the head as tough he was crushing out some lower impulse of the devotee. Sometimes he tapped, sometimes he made a pass with the palm over the head, etc. Each had its own effect, making remarkable differences in the sensation of feeling of the devotee. Baba's touch was one mean apart from that. He would invisibly operate on the nature of the devotee and effect a great change in him. He graciously conveyed to me without any words the feeling that all the difference were unreal, that the one thing is that which underlies all. This was after my first visit in 1913 or 1914 perhaps, but Baba never spoke out this truth so far as I know. A similar experience was had by one Raja Bali Muhammad of Bandra. I had nothing but particular to ask from his Baba. I wanted only an increase in faith. I wanted that all my death I die possession of full Imam or faith, so that I may have a good end. I prayed to him for that and asked him for his blessing. He placed his hand on my head and blessed me for that. From that moment his blessing have borne fruit. My faith has steadily increased. Here we come to the end of Sai Leela chapter 43. Om Sai Ram.